Where is the sign? It's to the hook later.
There's some chairs in the
Okay, thanks.
And they said.
Do you mind if they get it?
So I don't know.
Yeah, they fixed it. What do you say? How's everything going? How's everything going? Good.
I picked the call, and they told me they just have they wanted why we could pay for it.
If all else fails, you can just put down
What else need to sign?
Someone stole the pen.
I don't know where the pen ended up.
Sometimes
Okay. Everybody got it? Okay.
For the,
back up by there because she.
For me?
this is the one you were talking about,
Yeah.
214S.
Right, and I'm just telling you, I'm just trying to go through the ones that were on here.
You know, I expect.
I'm not any particular issue with them. Other than, you gotta look at it, make sure it's reflective, same with the F-13. Make sure it's reflective of what you wanted to occur.
Yeah.
Well, they only went through this thing, resolution, they did this last week. I was here. So, yeah, something, it's going that way.
Too much square foot. Point out where exactly all this.
Making an important
From here to here.
No, don't look at that. I'm fine. I can see pretty good from back here.
Yeah, really, she,
Oh, you mean just for time?
oh, no, that just came in, a budget request, is in the packet. That's all your stuff over there. I assume so. Yeah, that's the only night. Yes.
Okay, that's about that.
This is all we can find right now, and I don't think that's what you're looking for. Or whatever it is. Can't leave the office.
We already have a copy of that.
already have this?
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. It's all 2002, 2003. But I remember the one I'm thinking of had my writing, it said for public view, and it was out there 30 or 60 days, whatever the time period was supposed to be. And that's only been in the last 2, maybe 3 years.
If that's the one that you back, there's a 30-day comment period. We have to advertise it, has to be available for public view. So if that happened in the last, wouldn't get approval until after that comment period is up. So you're saying it was when that was?
You're right. When we were down in California and met with them, once I talked to you, I started thinking about it. That was on our watch. Took forever. Well, it did. It was approved on our watch.
Chairs set up.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it.
Go ahead.
You have problems if you change that from the 29th to the 23rd? No, that's budget.
I don't.
They have a new, that's the big one. You do want to speak at the same.
The day after the order.
That word's going around. He said,
No, we'll just be here tonight.
Yeah, right.
I want to hold it.
I get $1 for every chair. Yeah, you gotta. That's a buck.
Quarterback, we return the chair. I call a meeting to order. I'll rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start with public comments. We're going to go in order of sign in here, and then anybody else afterwards, if you have a comment, sign in and you can make your comment. Steve Greenberg, you have the floor.
Okay. Will we stand or?
Sure.
Okay.
And just state your name.
I'm Steve Greenberg. I'm with KLH Engineers. We're the engineers that were retained by the municipal authority to implement and design the sewer project that would serve Westland, Hickory, and South. We're here tonight to get approval for the Act 537 plan amendment. Now, there's already an approved Act 537 plan that covers sewering those 3 areas of the township. But when we were hired by the authority, they wanted to look at eliminating the proposed package plant that was going to serve South. So we looked at that, and based on the analysis that we did, we're going to pick up an additional 62 EDUs, build an additional 40,000 feet of pipe, and inflate the project cost a little bit but when you calculate everything, including O&M costs, the overall project cost is going to be about the same. So the authority wants to go ahead and petition the DEP to update the Act 537 plan to eliminate the package plant and replace it with a pump station and sewer that additional area. So I'm here tonight to answer your questions, if you have any, and seek approval for that amendment. There's a concurring resolution that needs to be passed by the township that will be included with the Act 537 plan when we submit it to the DEP. And I gave Mary Ann a draft of that resolution. I don't know if you've seen it, if you have any questions about it.
I understand what you're doing.
Okay,
Good luck.
all right. Any,
You, just so everybody's aware, you're planning on working all three phases of it as one?
we are, the plan right now is we're designing everything. All the sewers, the treatment plant, so that we can get the project to a point where we can secure some financing. And the intent is to build it all at the same time.
That would be Westland, Hickory,
In Southview.
Southview.
And the additional area which is along Pleasant Road between Southview and 519, where we hook into the interceptor that would go from Hickory to Westland.
And you're looking at a 2018 finish.
Yes, our schedule for the Act 537 plan we're submitting to DEP indicates that customer tap-ins would be in February 2018.
Very good.
The DEP's kind of already given you the thought that they could expedite the process of the reapplication.
They told us, yeah, I talked to Emily Shea. When I first told her we wanted to update the plan, she said, oh no, it took long enough to get it approved, we're not going to update it. And I explained what we wanted to do, and she said, okay, that would be fine. So I think we have their concurrence. I think they're happy that we're moving forward with the project and into design. So I don't think that the DEP is going to be an impediment to the process at all. I will need original copies of the signed copies of the resolution whenever you do pass it and sign. Is there any reason that you don't think that you would adopt or pass the resolution tonight?
It's in here. Yeah, it's in here for,
How many originals do you need? Is there a requirement for more than one?
I need one original to send to them, so if you want to make 2 or 3 originals, that's great. Okay. Anything else?
good.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Joe Johnston,
I'm here to talk about the Dollar General store when it comes up.
wait till the, okay. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Wait till the discussion. Very good, thanks. Bill Orton.
Bill Orton of Everly Road. Being that they're going to start drilling again in the township, they have been drilling, I would like to see if the supervisors could possibly think about letting the employees start to stay on the sites instead of taking them off site to live in hotels and stuff, live in the shacks that they bring in for them. You know, give the township maybe a little bit more money to spend on some other little projects, in addition to maybe making things a little easier for traffic on some of these roads when these guys are going back and forth. There's a safety issue.
Chief McQuillan.
Just want to remind everybody that the drug take-back is this Saturday from 10 to 2 here at the Township Building, and we picked up our supplies yesterday from the DEA. This is going to be the last federally funded one. It's uncertainty of whether or not there will be more going forward. It's going to be up to the states or counties to fund these from here on out. It's a good program, so I can't guarantee it's going to be back in 6 months. So if there's anything you want rid of, this Saturday would be the time to do it, just to be on the safe side. So.
Thanks, Chief. Was there anything on your reports too while you're here? We can come back to that.
Not unless you have any questions.
Okay. Rick Walsh.
I just want to say thanks for being able to change that speed limit from, I think it went from 40 down to 20 by the community center. I don't know if you're aware that they changed it, but it's changed. And so you guys did that quickly. I just want to say thanks.
Thank you. Janet Law.
Janet Law, 317 Fort Cherry Road. I have several comments regarding the recent consent agreement between the PA Department of Environmental Protection and Range Resources as it pertains to the conversion of the Carter impoundment to a freshwater impoundment, and more importantly, the responsibilities that the Mount Pleasant Township Supervisors have to ensure the health and safety of the residents near the impoundment and in our township. First, I would ask that the township not allow any activity at the Carter impoundment until existing notice of violations is decided by the Washington County Court of Appeals. Also, Gary, can you pass it to me? I have a couple documents that I want to share with you. I did a right to know request for a police report from December 12, 2012. Some of you might be familiar of that time, or something that happened, an event that happened at the impoundment. But I want to share it with you. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I think it's important to know that the officer, I guess, was on scene, and he asked the supervisor on scene regarding the incident of a possible spill at the Carter impoundment. And he said, I asked Blank if there was some type of spill or leak on site. Blank said yes. Blank indicated there was a leak first noticed sometime in November of 2012. However, Blank could not give a specific date. I asked Blank if the DEP was notified regarding this issue. Blank stated he did not personally contact them, but an unknown member of Range Resources did make the contact. Consequently, Mr. Shoney was on site also and contacted the DEP and said that they had no record of the incident. But you can read on down through it. But I also want to say that, what our law enforcement filed in their report as a spill was reported by the operator to the town, what the law enforcement filed in their report as a spill was reported to the operator, to the township manager as a general maintenance. You'll have the email to Mary Ann just saying that wasn't a spill, it was general maintenance. And there also has been numerous recent repairs made to the Carter impoundment liner. Moreover, there were elevated levels of radiation that were detected in the sludge from the impoundment earlier this year. By the way, the radioactive containers are still located on the Caldwell site adjacent to the Carter impoundment. One could reasonably believe that the contaminants in the radiation may have already entered the soil underneath the liner in the impoundment. I asked the township to request that the DEP conduct soil sampling beneath the liner and obtain detailed analytical results before any activity occurs at the Carter impoundment. Considering the design and construction of the Carter impoundment is similar to those impoundments in Washington County, which have been identified as leaking. I also asked the township to require a new DEP permit and a new Act 14 notification be issued due to the change of service of the Carter impoundment so that it is crystal clear to the township the intended use of the impoundment by the operator. Regarding the recent Act 14 notification of the McMaster well to use the Carter impoundment for recycled water, I asked the township to deny that request as it conflicts with the conditions of the consent agreement. If any and all above requests are not honored by the operator or the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, I am then asking the township to take appropriate measures by applying for an injunction for the use of the Carter impoundment. As you may recall, it was stated during the NOV hearings that the operator has other options for their water source and they do not necessarily need to include the Carter impoundment. Let's hold them to their words.
Rebecca Stewart, ma'am.
Can I go after Kim? Because I'm unrelated, my comments are unrelated.
That's
Okay.
fine. Do I have to stand? You want me to stand? I actually have photos.
I'll hold them because I
Okay.
had to stand.
Okay. Kim Staub, 101 Walnut. I am here, I am adjacent to the Carter impoundment. So I'm just going to kind of reiterate what Janet said. I know a while back we issued a notice violation against Range. I'm curious as to where that stands at this point, because they still are operating the Carter impoundment. Can you give me any information on where the township stands on that?
Just sitting at the Washington County Court of
Okay, have you requested and followed through to find out why we don't have a court date for that yet?
Yeah, I haven't requested anything. I'm not handling it.
So who is?
Chuck names.
Okay, is there a reason why he hasn't asked for a court date? So it's just in limbo, so they're allowed to use it while we've
I don't know
issued?
if they're allowed to use it, there's two different issues, but yeah.
Okay.
It's sitting in limbo.
Okay. Janet was referring to a day that there was a substantial spill at the impoundment. I have photos, and if you like, I'll come up there and show them to you. And the reason I'm saying this and showing you this, it's because there is no oversight, either from the township, the DEP, or anyone else in this impoundment. It is the same exact construction as all the other impoundments that are now under, closure with the DEP. This is the day that Janet referred to. Range came in with excavation, and pulled 20 hazmat tanks out, and you can see them, they're sitting up here, and they're stating that there was no spill that day. Okay, so here is the photos, and I also have letters from the DEP that I can give each of you. And Brian Miller from the DEP stated that there was a spill, and Range has now turned around and said there isn't a spill. And Janet also obtained the police report that says there was a spill. If there was no spill, I'm just curious of why 20 containers or dumpsters were taken out of soil if there was no spill. So I'd kind of like to get to the bottom of that. I can't get any information, maybe you guys can, but I can give you each of the letters from the DEP to show that there was actually a spill that day. So we get so much conflicting, answers from Range, from the DEP, and I'm just really concerned with it. All right. So now I'm aware that Range has asked and issued or requested an Act 14 notification to start using the Carter impoundment again. And this is my big concern. In the fall of last year, Range drained that impoundment. They cleaned it, and now they've put it back into operation. There are numerous holes in this impoundment, and I have quite a few pictures. This is the impoundment, and if any of you can see these white marks, they're all holes that they repaired. These are zoomed up pictures that are in that impoundment, and they're all numbered. I just took a few. I can, where I live, go up to hole number 81. And I just would like the residents of the township to see. I've contacted Range and the DEP. Range states that these are precautionary repairs. I have no idea what a precautionary repair. These are huge holes in this impoundment. Look at the size of the one on the bottom. DEP tells me that they are to take Range's word. They are not required to go out and do a sample of soil or take a review of these because Range told them they were okay, that they were precautionary repairs. I'm asking the township, I live 850 feet from this impoundment. That is very alarming. Foul reviews, these are the same holes and the same condition of every other impoundment that is now being closed. I'm asking the township to step up. I've hired an attorney, we've already won on the NOV, and you guys are just sitting here doing nothing. This is alarming. So now the Range is trying to tell us that impoundment is fresh water. Where did the radioactivity come from? There's 3 tanks, there was 3 tanks sitting out there. 3 tanks of radioactivity or radioactive material sitting on an impoundment that is still sitting there since May. They're saying it came from the Carter impoundment. That's alarming. If it came from the Carter impoundment, that means that soil has radioactivity in it, and I'm spraying water. Just asking, can the township possibly, with the DEP, come and do soil and water samples? I mean, it's very alarming, and I just want people to see what's going on. This impoundment is so hidden that no one knows what's going on up there, but I have access that I can get here, and this is what people need to know. This impoundment needs to be shut down. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Uh-huh.
Brian, could I ask you a question?
Sure.
How many liners are in the?
2. But there's no underground monitoring system on that impoundment, so it's not even built correctly. So there's no way to monitor if it's leaking.
Hugh, are you on the same?
Pretty much. I don't know if I need to say anything, she pretty much banged it all out for me.
Okay.
I I'm just gonna repeat what she says pretty much, so I'll pass.
Rebecca.
Okay. Rebecca Scarpan, Avella Road, Hickory. I'm here tonight on behalf of the library. We were asking that you approve the motion to, for the library for a copier fax machine that we had proposed originally for the impact fee money, which Jim's voted no. And Mr. Fawner said that possibly we could get it out of the local sheriff account. And I'm asking that you please approve that motion.
Thank you. Jeff Donati.
I'm Jeff Donati, Washington Avenue. The first question I wanted to ask was about the availability of the agenda on the website. Several of us looked and could not find where that was. I believe I asked last meeting if that was going to take place. Does anybody know if that was made available on the website?
It was not. It's not. I'm still in the early stages of formulating it, so it should be up there for October.
Okay, so
It's a new website, so it's still taking some time to get
Okay.
this. I think the
so
goal
we
is to
looked
get
for
all-
it, we saw a header for it, but there was no link to it.
Yeah, we haven't made it.
Okay. That was, go ahead, though.
I was able to get it the day before. I just stopped at the township meeting and asked for it, and it was
Oh, okay.
provided.
Okay. I do have one question about what's on the agenda today. Resolution 2014-S, can you explain what that is? Does that have to do with the individuals getting noticed to have the dye testing and all that? Concerning the on-lot sewage system?
Do we want to talk to that, discuss it, or read it during discussion?
However you want to do it. People, I don't know what you want to know, but.
Does it affect us as individual landowners?
It does. Well, let me find it. Do you have it handy? And if I miss something, you guys, unless you want me to read everything word for word, basically what it changes is, because complaints have been pretty numerous, and with this sewage project, we want to try to limit those at this point, so we don't, so it doesn't cost a lot of people a lot of money and then turn around and tap into sewage a couple years later. So basically, this is hoping to resolve the complaints a little bit by, when receiving a complaint from a Mount Pleasant Township resident regarding the function of an adjacent or neighboring on-lot sewage disposal system, the function of the on-lot sewage disposal system of the complaining resident will also be inspected. So not only does it, you have to have yours if you're complaining.
Did it teach you?
All Mount Pleasant Township residents, this is section 2, all Mount Pleasant Township residents who submit a complaint about an on-lot sewage disposal system will be given a summary of the current status of the municipal authority sewage project and a summary of costs, fines, and penalties as prepared by the township zoning officer in cooperation with the municipal authority. So,
Also good. Okay.
it's,
I want to clear up one thing though, that's only if your party is adjacent to the property or neighboring property you're complaining about. So if somebody's driving down the road and they're complaining about sewage that's not adjacent to their own property, they're not gonna run over and test their property too, right?
It's only
So,
adjacent property.
it's adjacent neighboring properties, yeah. Across the road, next to, that could possibly have an impact. So it's not meant to
So it,
quell people from complaining, that would not be, the DP wouldn't permit that.
now, in a question going further, if the adjacent property owner owns multiple properties, which one are you going to test?
The adjacent property,
Only the adjacent property.
right, yeah, it's not a,
yeah, this
it's
is,
not supposed to keep people from complaining, it's supposed to make sure their own lot isn't contributing to the complaining issue.
Okay. It's a good, I mean, it's a good thought, but if it's limited to that, I don't know what good it will do, so. But I mean,
It's a step in the right
it
direction.
is a step in the right direction, I commend that. But I'm thinking back to my personal situation and who complained about it.
And I think she said it best, you can't stop the complaints.
I
There's
understand.
only so much you
Yeah.
can do before you cross the line.
Okay, thank you.
John Bershaw.
Right here.
John Bershaw, 4 Cherry Road. I got 2 things to address. One, do we have any type of preliminary map of the sewage, or what roads are gonna get into? Okay, I didn't know that. All right. Okay. 2, I know we've been beating this topic hard with these frac ponds. Okay, I'm gonna beat it a little bit more, I ain't gonna take much time, okay? Did you guys okay them to use that in the upcoming months or anything? For the McMaster? No?
I don't know that we, okay.
We don't okay them.
Okay. That thing back there, and every one of you, when they're drilling, or if they ever use that again, everyone's welcome to come 273 Cherry Road, go knock on the door, I'll take you back there. You can smell it, it smells like a horrible chemical when that thing's in use. And Range is not gonna stick to using it for fresh water. Range is gonna do what they wanna do with it. They always do what they wanna do. And it's built just like the 5 that they had the issue with, that they lied about, that they lied about, that they lied about, then all of a sudden, you're right. They were leaking. If we have the ability to stop them from using it, you got to, okay? And what they were talking about, the nuclear or the radioactive waste containers, okay? There was one big one up there. About 2 months ago, they came out, no notice, no nothing, and they decided to split it into 2. They had people in hazmat suits with ventilators and everything when they split it. Did they bother to tell my parents, the property owners, that they were doing that? No, my mom was outside. She could smell this horrible smell coming from it. It looks 100 yards from her. Lo and behold, you've got people looking like the actors from E.T. when they had that whole setup going on. My mom breathed that in, but their workers were protected. Do you think that was right that they didn't give us notice that they were going to crack open that radioactive container and start pumping into the other 2? No. This is stuff we deal with them, okay? And like I said, every one of you, welcome to come up if they reuse it or even see it. But where you guys have it, you guys got to stop them from using these. And if anyone has a big farm that, wants their next well, volunteer. You put it on your property. Okay? It's that simple. Hey, tell Range, I volunteer. Give me a portable tank for them while you drill my wells. Take it away from, behind my house. It's ridiculous. Anyone who wants the well, they should volunteer for it. Okay? That's it.
Thanks, John. I have one more on the list. Joanne Wagner?
1025 Lakeside Drive. I came tonight to support the families that live by the Carter Impoundment. Many of them are my friends, and many of them have children that are my kids' friends. And I would do anything in my power to protect my children. And if your children were living there, you would feel the same way, I think. It's one thing to make decisions about yourself as an adult, but it's another to have the responsibility for your kids and the protection of your kids. And I feel for these guys. I know they have toxic exposure. I've been there, I've monitored the air. We've identified volatile organic compounds in the air. There's obviously soil contamination from the leaks. There's water contamination from the leaks as well. So every time you have a chance to act and you don't, you're digging a bigger and bigger hole for yourselves and for these families. And I will continue to send the legal cases that I'm looking at that now are very clear that these uses are not compatible in the zones right now that we're allowing this free-for-all to go on in. And I will continue to send them because you're putting yourselves at risk and you're putting your citizens at risk, not only health and safety-wise, but from a legal standpoint. You're going to get sued. People are just fed up. I mean, completely fed up. So just know that, and I support these families. The other thing I wanted to raise was if the concern is that you're afraid of range resources and they're gonna bankrupt the township, my suggestion is to do what corporations do, and they hire general counsel. So you spend $100,000 on a legal resource that is an employee of the township that can fight these battles for you and stand and protect the residents. If you're spending more than that, you know, outside counsel or what have you, it's a cost savings approach. So I think the citizens deserve proper legal representation and not to be questioned about, well, we can't fight it because it'll cost us a lot of money. And that's, we can't run a township that way. So that's the extent of that. And then for the sewage project, I'm wondering if you're embarking on a new comprehensive plan that's going to change zoning, how you are aligning sewage infrastructure with future zoning infrastructure, and how that's going to come together. Because it seems to me that maybe you're putting the cart before the horse with the sewage project. The comprehensive plan changes the zoning, and the sewage is in the wrong place to enable growth, then we've just spent a whole lot of money for a whole lot of nothing. So that's it.
Thanks, John.
Is there anybody else that's not on the list that would like to speak?
I'm on, Joe.
Okay. We'll let you go ahead and say your name then.
I wasn't going to talk tonight, but since everyone else is talking about impoundments, I'm going to talk about impoundments. Everyone in this township knows that I'm against impoundments. There's no secret about it. If you would check the website called responsibledrillingalliance.org, it clearly speaks about changing a wastewater impoundment to a freshwater impoundment, a freshwater impoundment to a wastewater impoundment. There are DEP regulations against this. You can change a freshwater impoundment to a wastewater impoundment simply by putting the flowback water into it. Once it does become a legal wastewater impoundment, it cannot, under any circumstances, go back to being a freshwater impoundment. Not even with DEP regulations of taking out the liner, relining it, trying to start over. There is no do-over in an impoundment. An impoundment is an impoundment. It's a licensed excavation pit that is put into our community for its purpose. The DEP permit clearly states what that purpose is. The pits that were put into our township were clearly stated that they are freshwater impoundments. We have no business being in the wastewater or flowback impoundment business. We have no business having them in our township. The Range Resources has never had a permit approved, and it accidentally became a wastewater impoundment. It cannot be cleaned up, temporarily repaired, and turned back into a freshwater impoundment. It's not the time for a do-over. The DEP clearly states on their website, as does Responsible Drilling Alliance, that this is not allowed and it's not permissible. The other thing is that these impoundments were grandfathered in and constructed under earlier regulations where there is no alarm system, there is no leak system, there is no detection system, there is nothing in place at this time, not just to protect us, to protect range, to protect the workers, to protect the drivers, to protect the excavators. Anyone who goes on that site is not protected. We're not doing any justice to anyone by sitting on these violations that we clearly have filed against range. The citizens have asked many times, what is the status of these violations? It's time for us to go after Chuck Means or whoever we need to go after, and we need to find out what the status of these violations are. It's time to enforce the status of those violations, and it's time for Mount Pleasant Township to be on the front page of the newspaper as closed impoundments like everybody else. Because now that they're closing the other impoundments, I have information from all the trucking companies around. I know where they're taking the waste. I know whose impoundments they're using. I know. Okay, I filed some of Smith County Transport's paperwork. I know that I transmit through faxes some of the paperwork. I can tell you where this waste is going to go. I can tell you that these are accidentally going to become flowback ponds again because there are none. Nobody else is allowing it to come into their township, and there is absolutely no reason for Mount Pleasant Township to be the dumping grounds. There's no reason for it. We should enforce our violations. We should shut down the impoundments in an orderly fashion. We've offered Range Resource before deals. They've offered us a deal we didn't like, but we never counteroffered. It's time to give them what they call a drop-dead date. It has to drop dead, it has to go away, and it has to be done. It's just what our township is entitled to. We let them come in, now we need to let them go out in an orderly fashion. And they can't just keep flipping them back. I'm gonna make it fresh water, I'm gonna make it, flow back water. You can't do that. They weren't constructed for it, they aren't designed for it, and they aren't safe enough for it. So the only thing we can do is enforce the violations.
Anybody else? Okay, just, the rest of the meeting will be for discussion with the board. The board members only, unless something opens back up for an action item that's not on here, so. Anybody else for public comment? Okay. Thank you for your comment. I have a motion to accept the reports as presented.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
One question, I don't see the fire department report.
Third from the bottom.
Fire department reports, once you're done, you've seen them. No, once you're done.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pay our bills, invoices received during the period of 8/27/14 to 9/23.
Second? It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 30th, 2014 regular board meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Just want to let you know that I will be voting no because I didn't vote for the resolution, so it'd be ludicrous for me to vote for the minutes.
Okay, understood. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 2-1.
I move that we approve the minutes from August 27th regular board meeting.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 2-1.
I'll make a motion to approve the Tri-State Management Holding Company subdivision sewage planning module. Did I miss one? The subdivision plus the sewage planning?
Subdivision number 2 at 186 Main Street.
And I have plus sewage planning module wrote on mine.
That should be a module goes with it. Sorry, okay, it's not on mine.
Subdividing 1.35 acre parcel for the purpose of constructing a Dollar General store subject to any conditions identified by the solicitor.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Is there a representative from the parties involved?
Yes, sir. I'm Joe Johnston, Director of Smith and Partners. We're the engineers for the Dollar General store.
Come up right here.
Are we still talking about the plat?
Yeah,
Yes.
subdivision first.
Okay.
Rick, are you party as the landowner? Do you have anything?
The only thing I have a question about is that it's the location of where Beverly Stout's house used to be. Beverly Stout's house was 176 Main Street. I just don't know if that makes a difference at all. 186 Main Street is Subway. So I just don't know. It's no big deal, nothing we can't fix later on.
I think yeah, I don't think that makes a difference to the.
Unless, of course, he plans on ripping the Subway out and putting it there.
Yeah, I think ultimately there's better descriptions than the street number in here, so I'm looking forward to that.
Has the street address been signed?
Don't you sign that
It's a
when
part of
the
the
building
lot.
gets started?
When the building started and the entrance ways,
Yeah.
when they did.
What's the address of the post office?
188.
Otherwise, we have a description of
I
it.
guess you'd be 180.
Yeah, the plat is sufficient.
Okay. Are there any conditions?
I'm not suggesting conditions for the subdivision, other than financial security has to be posted for reporting.
For the site plan? Okay.
This was sent up to our township engineer, K2, and I have an email from Aaron. That he reviewed the revised drawing sent by email. All comments appear to have been addressed, and he'll update the township, which he did by this email. So the engineer did review the revision, and everything that was on there from his original letter has been taken care of, according to Aaron.
Yeah, does Washington County take site plans for recording? I mean subdivision plans. site plans.
Subdivisions, but I'm not, in my experience, I've never done any recording of site plans.
So some counties do, some counties don't, so before recording of the subdivision,
Okay.
financial security.
I know A2 is saying something about Washington County plan. We need to run it by them.
Did you already
The
submit?
subdivision,
Yeah.
the subdivision, that was done previously.
Okay.
And the
That's been
land
done.
development goes to the county.
Right, that's what I was gonna ask, I didn't
Has that
see,
not been done?
I didn't see that it was done,
History, you're
but
gonna bust this up.
the applicant needed to do that.
Okay.
That's 30 days before approval, so this goes to the county.
Okay, didn't know that, sorry.
Can we get some kind of waiver on that?
I don't work for the county, so I have no idea.
They're up there 24/7, or not 24/7, they're up there 7 days a week, rather. So you don't have to wait for a meeting, you just go in.
Okay, it's just that. And that's by, and site plan.
I don't know, I'm
It's the
presuming.
site land development plan that's the one.
We've never done one.
I thought it was part of y'all's ordinance. I'm sorry. I thought it was a K2's comment, that's why I wasn't sure.
Where you building that thing?
Next
We're on it.
Towards Hickory. The way this thing reads, you're gonna divide the subway up.
I can't read. I'm pleading I can't read.
That's what I read. Right? I mean, just reading what it says.
This is the subdivision. I don't recall the subdivision goes to the county.
You shouldn't have it.
So it's already done.
So then this would be subject to review by the county. I mean, that's kind of corner stuff.
Yeah, I would have a problem.
For the
For the subdivision.
All right, well, then this one, and this motion only has to do with the
Selling it to them, they need
site plan
to drive.
separate.
All right.
You know, just how it easements to go back and forth.
Okay. So we're good with we're good with the subdivision.
And
Yeah,
everything
subject
is,
to the posting of financial security.
Can Aaron review those numbers and approve them?
Yep, all I have to do is look the letter of credit on that piece. On the HOP is a different issue, but I'm concerned about the performance of for the performance security for the improvements. So that should be done tomorrow once I look at the letter of credit. I just haven't seen it yet. I just got it. There wasn't any issue,
no worries about timing issues if it's approved tonight on that stuff, with deadlines or anything.
so. Not on the subdivision.
Okay.
No, no.
Any other questions?
No, I have none.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the Hickory DPP 9 LLC land development for the general store, Dollar General Store, subject to any conditions identified by our solicitor.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
So you want to hear the conditions? So the HOP is a standard condition. Financial security for the benefit of the township for the stormwater improvements in the right of way. Remember me telling you that Dollar General is going to have to post security to PennDOT? That's for the benefit of PennDOT. It's going to be your responsibility. So you want them to post the same security or whatever K2 decides to you. So, in other words, PennDOT doesn't have to execute on the security if the system fails. But you need to be able to, because you're ultimately responsible for it. So I'll work with Joe to get that done. Waiting to hear the numbers. They're gonna propose, they're already working through the numbers, so we'll get that done.
Well, numbers for the work in the right of way.
Yeah, so I'll know what they're doing for PennDOT, and then we'll give it to K2 and we'll work through what we need to escrow for you guys. That hasn't been done yet. So that'll be a condition. Developers agreement, that'll be a condition. Financial security for the performance of the site improvements, which I think we have almost all ironed out. They've proposed a letter of credit and a number, and K2's approved the number. So we have the bonding number. We just have to I just have to have a chance